Hello, hello. Okay, I don't know why my speaker is not speaking to me. Check, check, check. Mic check.
Strange. I've tried resetting on the computer a couple times here.
I hear you, my friend.
Yeah, I'm on the phone. I'm gonna try one more time joining on the computer. I don't know why it's acting weird. So I can have my cam on for the unlonely stream. So just one sec. Let me try and join. Okay, I hear you. Do you hear me?
I do. I hear
Oh,
you loud and
great.
clear, my friend.
That's nice. Yeah, I was the third time is a charm, as they do say. Okay, great. Whew. All right, we're live up on the socials. I'm gonna jump up on Unlonely here to check in over there, see if it's. I know sometimes it takes a minute to sort of catch up here, so gonna see. Let's see. I'm gonna hop out and in of Unlonely as well.
Do, do, do. Yeah,
Oh, nice view. Very nice.
that
Oh,
almost.
let me turn my.
He's like a mini Doge dog getting a little aggro on us.
Hey, that is
Greetings
a.
from Fairbanks, Alaska.
Oh man, I've always wanted to go to Alaska. Oh, okay, we're up. I see us on Unlonely. I think I mentioned before you left, I had like a semi plan with a couple friends to go up to one of my friends' cabins. It was like eighth grade or something, but we weren't able to really pull it off. Man, it looks cold. Maybe it's better off. Well, I was going to go in the summer, but I don't know if I could do that with my thinned out Costa Rica blood here. It was super warm today here up in Northern California, like summer day. Oh yeah, you're set. Okay, that's the kind of gear you need. Woo-hoo-hoo.
I was about to pretend
Um,
that the heat went out inside, but I figured I might as well go outside and this is 6 degrees, my friends.
dude, that's
Kind
crazy.
of like
Oh my
Trizlet land.
frigidness. Right? Even more. Yeah, it was like super warm day today. And then even before the sun went down, it was like 4 o'clock or something. And I went outside for a second. I was like, oh, I guess that means it's gonna get cold. And yeah, it switches like, in a second. It was a trick because it seemed so nice of a day, and then it got frigid. But glad to be here with y'all on this Monday. Shout out everyone over in the Unlonely. I'm gonna say a hello over there. I got to jump in a little earlier today. Jose's doing a Bard night at Metagame on, I believe now Mondays and Fridays, I think. So I saw that was live like after, maybe it was after Spherical, and jumped in for a minute, and he played some tunes, and we were also talking just a little bit about like Venezuela and different things he's up to with Trizlet as well as over there. So maybe we'll jump back into a little of that later on. Let's see, maybe I'll also just ping Jose, see what's up. I'm sure he'll be strolling in here in the next few minutes. But share with us a little about how the trip up to Alaska was. That was always one of the things that seemed interesting. I mean, I think you guys flew up, but I know often people will just like maybe from Vancouver or something take a boat up. There's like I don't know how long those like shuttle boats are. They're probably 12 hours or a full day or something. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear just kind of like what it was like getting in up there and stuff being so remote.
Yeah, so it was like butter. We
Yeah.
flew from SFO through Seattle, and we had an hour layover. Stuffed ourselves silly with a good burger. My wife had some Thai chicken salad, and then we hopped on and we're just a little bit late coming into to Fairbanks, but we got our rental car, a little Chevy Equinox, all-wheel drive, and as I was, getting it ready to go, it's like ice was caked in on all the wipers, and I don't know if it was driven much in the last day or two, but it's like, you're not supposed to chisel out your car. So I let him know that was the scene, and it's like, why don't you wash the cars? And she said, well, at this temperature, if we wash the cars, the doors
It's
freeze
ice,
shut.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they'll
bet.
freeze shut. So with that was the biggest adventure. And at around 10, we were on our way, and we just went straight to our son's apartment and just checked in and hung out with him for a little bit. And so that was great. And then we did a midnight shopping trip to wake up with something in the fridge. But Safeway, there's Fred Meyer, there's Costco,
Oh,
there's every single possible uh, mainland. It's like a mini Reno, if you know what that is, Sacramento,
I've been
but
to Reno. Yeah,
microscopic. I mean, it's
right.
really flat, and all sorts of strip malls, and being 6 degrees. The interesting thing, and the reason why I don't have my camera on, I can't figure out how to flip the image on my phone to look back at me. So
I
anyway, because
I
anyway,
recall trying to figure that out once. I forget how if I
all
did
right.
it or how I did it.
I was trying to get my computer to speak to Discord, but anyway, that's not working either. So at this point, I'm just kicking back in our Airbnb. My wife's working here with me, and it's an hour later. It's
Mm,
5 o'clock there? It's 4 o'clock here.
trippy. Man,
And
and so what is the light I mean, it looked plenty light outside when you showed us, but does it get I mean, because
no,
I guess maybe you have to get farther north to be in that like constant dusk winter or whatever, because I know if
right,
you get farther up, it's like the sun doesn't really set in the summertime. Like it'll just kind of creep to the horizon and you get kind of like a dusk and it comes back up. And then I believe winter in the same in the deep of winter, like you're in just night. You might get a little bit of light as the sun kind of comes up, but it never really passes much into the sky in winter. So I guess you guys are far enough south to where you still get like a
no,
regular
no.
day.
We are at like only 10 miles south of the Arctic Circle, and so we're just a little bit away from that darkest night, which is or darkest day rather.
Hmm.
That is, of course, at the winter solstice, the 20th, 21st of December, and so the sunset at 3 o'clock.
Damn, that's
So what
crazy.
you're seeing the twilight right now. So
Right?
there's
Oh
a good
man,
amount of light,
so
but
trippy.
it's about dark. It's going to be dark pretty soon. But the sun came up at around 10:30, 11 o'clock,
Dude, that's
and,
so
and
trippy to
it's
have a day
totally
from like 10:30 to 3:30 or something, and the rest is darkness. That's
yeah,
interesting, man.
it's
But
cool.
then again, in the summertime, you'd have this hugely long day and like 5 hours of dark or something. Uh,
No,
yeah,
only
no.
an hour and a half
Oh,
and it's still
Jesus.
light outside. I mean, the sun
Oh
sets
man.
at 11:30 and rises at like 2.
Dude, that's crazy. I would
It's
I would be
totally.
like triple black masking it
Oh yeah,
to sleep. Or yeah, like I guess not a scratch
blackout
bag, but
curtain.
yeah,
Yeah,
blackout
everything.
curtains, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it's
I just like I get to imagining what it was like, say even probably 50 years ago, but like 100 years ago to get up to like Fairbanks, Alaska would probably just be a wild adventure. You'd be taking ferries and like trains and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I mean, awesome that with the modern technology, you were just able to jump a few flights and scoot in and get a car. That looks cool.
absolutely. I mean, it's cuckoo, and yeah, actually, going back to your question, I'm still not figuring out how to get it on me, because I want to see you without, Anyway, the bottom line is that the inland water passage from Seattle, Vancouver, Victoria, Vancouver Island, that gives you that access to really, smooth sailing between Vancouver Island all the way up to Juneau and Anchorage. And yeah, that's the slow boat where you can take a cruise or ferries, and you can jump in and out of all sorts of different little towns along the way. A lot of fishing villages,
I bet.
and take float planes into the into the there's amazing mountains on both Vancouver Island as well as the mainland, and there's glaciers up here, and
Right.
it's just an amazing area. I'd love to spend some more time here. I, I've flown around with this flight simulator called GeoFS. It's a
Mhm.
browser flight simulator, and you buy the HD GPS for $10, and
Cool.
you can fly anywhere in the world and have full relief. I mean, you're
Whoa.
flying through the valleys, you're careening through the Alps, doing
That's pretty cool.
Star Wars type careening through deep canyons. I know it's very addictive, but so I've checked out a lot of airports, landed in various places up here actually, and so
Nice.
um, I stopped. I
Uh-huh.
had to stop, but at this point,
Timing, yeah.
too much time. So, but the cool part of Fairbanks is that you're essentially a trailhead, I guess you can say, to uh, the Arctic. You can get on snowmobiles. You can go up into this place called the Chena Hot Springs, and you can
Nice.
go up there at any temperature and soak up some. It's what 110 in some corners of the big pool, and so yeah, you can get
That's
roasted.
spicy.
Yeah, it's
Ha
totally.
ha have you I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, salmon season and stuff like that is pretty far gone, but have you ever, on your, like, trips up, have you ever done any, like, fishing or, kinda stuff like that, or gone out and seen, like, I don't know, the killer whales or, like,
No.
done any of that kinda stuff? That would be cool.
See, Fairbanks is about 6 hours drive north of, well, 4 hours, 4.5, maybe 5 hours north of Anchorage, which is at the coast. And
Right.
so directly north, you have to go through Denali Park and then keep
Mhm.
on driving to Fairbanks. So all there are rivers. And unfortunately, when we've gotten here in August to drop our son off, it turns to fall right around that time. So it's raining. So it's pissing. And then I've come and helped him move out of the dorms and put stuff in storage, bring him home in late April, May. It's kind of interesting how the semesters work here, but it's right at the thaw, and so the
Mhm.
ice is breaking up on the river, treacherous. There's no way to,
Hectic.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't throw a hook in to save your life. And
Dude,
the fish run all the time. I mean, there's God, what's the name? Not only salmon, but these. God, I can look it up. But the bottom line is, there's plenty of fish. Obviously, based on the summer flow. What is it? The fall where the salmon come up river and
mhm.
spawn and drop their little ones. That is, I'd love to see that sometime. But there's a lot of
Yeah.
people that just go up the summer, drop in on some, uh, fish camp. I mean, from Anchorage or some other seaport, you can pretty much catch a seaplane, a float plane, and go into deep lakes or on rivers and hang out. Uh, beautiful cabins that you can go out and pay through the nose, of course. But yeah,
Right.
good
The
stuff.
the fattest, best fish. Like, I've had some friends that have worked on, fishing boats up there. And of course, I've watched some of like the people that go under the ice and like vacuum up the gold and stuff. There's a couple of those shows I haven't seen for a while, but I remember seeing some of those and it was just crazy. Yeah, like hectic towards the end of the season. The ice is like breaking up and they're just doing super sketchy gold mining. Random when you're talking about the flight simulator, just I don't know. I was dinner at a friend's the other day, and somehow in his like one of his feeds, I don't know if it was like Facebook or something else, came up like a super super fancy high tech flight simulator where you're like you like go up a little ladder and like step into this giant box and it has all the screens and stuff. And it was, I mean, the thing was probably like, I don't know, 50,000 or $100,000 machine or something, but someone was selling it for like on the super cheap. We were just kind of looking at it because it was cool. Not that, I'd be picking up something like that, but it popped into my mind when you're talking about the flight simulating and stuff. What about like, I mean, I know you're just visiting and stuff, but what about a music scene up there? Like your son being in college up there have you heard much about like whether there is a music scene?
Yeah, there absolutely is. I mean, it's pretty funkmeister. There's a lot of you know uh, very funky scene here. I mean, it's
Cool.
very wide. Gender scene in college. It's being surrounded by a very red state. I think you'd be surprised how progressive the campus is here. And but just to give you an example of how red of a state there is, how there's some places in Kentucky, Tennessee that you'll see a lot of houses that have cars in their front yard. Can you see in the distance there? There's a paddle boat
Yeah.
that's pushed up on the shore there. You know,
Looks like a
only
couple maybe.
yeah, only do you have a riverboat stuffed on your front yard. So I'll just go like this. It's great to
Dude,
see
it's
everybody.
crazy. It's crazy like how light that is out for being after dark, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's so much ambient light still. That's trippy.
So this is the place.
Snackles.
My life.
Nice. Looks
Sorry.
looks pretty cozy though.
I mean, I mean, every modern fixture is here. It's not, you're in the
You're
States
not in a
here.
wooden cabin like out
No.
in the trees. Bring in the
People think,
firewood.
and there's no fireplace here. So that's even more ridiculous.
Almost a shame. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
A modern
but
living, I guess.
I was well, I'll look around in the next day or so. I didn't have enough time to do it today to see if I can rent a guitar
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't want my calluses to disappear while I'm up here. So
True. Or yeah, grab one from like the I don't know, your kid's dorm, one of his buddy's guitars, grab it for a few days.
yeah,
He's
maybe.
probably able
Well,
to rent one thing.
I don't know.
Borrow, yeah.
Why you
No.
didn't bring your guitar? Your guitar will break if you took it there. How does that work musically
I think
speaking?
the change of temperature would be so extreme.
Yeah, totally.
If you're moving there, but like going back after
I think
like a
we need to
week,
have
it's hard to
Jose
like earth
turn on echo cancellation there.
or throw on some headphones.
Yeah, well, no, you could bring whatever you want. You could take your guitar to the deep south and expose it to the most brutal, uh, humidity. But up here, it's so dry. I mean, it is so extremely dry. My cuticles are already splitting. I mean,
I,
yeah,
my face, I'm sure, would just be like, yeah, crackling already. I get dry, like even up here,
yeah,
just from having spent a lot of time in like the tropics where it's a lot more humid. You kind of get used to it. But yeah, I would think, like, I mean, I'm not a big guitar player, but if I had like my main guitar, I
yeah.
wouldn't want to take that somewhere so extreme. I'd probably want to have like a little
No,
mini travel guitar or something that I would, yeah, take down south or take up to Alaska because yeah, that'll affect it.
yeah. Either that or get a carbon fiber guitar is something that is definitely
Trippy.
more you know can withstand heat and humidity changes. There's all sorts of guitars that are out there.
I,
Blackbird and uh, what is
I
it?
don't think I've seen one. I don't
Yeah,
think I know I've not heard a fiber uh 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 um you know, composite or whatever they're
Composite.
kind of.
Did I say
Yeah.
did I say
You said you
fiber?
didn't say what did you say? You didn't say fiber optic. That like popped into my head.
My
You said
brain is not working.
no. You said
Carbon
something
fiber,
correct. Carbon. Yeah,
carbon,
yeah.
yeah,
So
carbon fiber, and it's amazing. The bottom line is you're trying to have the most stable wood, and essentially the best way is to have just something that's permanently in the area. It's set. It's you know you never know. If there's a luthier here that can actually set the wood at the humidity that it's going to stay in, that's ideal, right? But
yeah, yeah. Um, that was a pretty awesome Friday. The that seed show went pretty
yeah,
sweet. That was great. We had, it was kind of a smaller turnout at the beginning, but people kept sort of piling in. By the end, it was a good crowd. It was a little tough. Decentraland was working for me well at the beginning, but like later in the night, then I was having a hard time. I know other people were having a hard time loading up, or like the screens weren't necessarily all working, but that's just because there were, I mean, I don't know, but there was a lot of people in World. I'd like to see the numbers
yeah,
of like how many people were in consecutively at the same time, because it did run a lot smoother this year. The like little mini games and stuff at different people's stages worked really well. And there was a lot of different shows. I mean, I don't know, it was hundreds and
yeah,
hundreds of musicians playing across just a couple days. So it seemed like it was definitely a move in the right direction from last year. Also, I like that they call it DCL Music Festival.
yeah,
That was kind of
exactly.
nice
they
to see.
they named it correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. um, but yeah, it was really fun to have both you guys up,
Go,
and it
tell me
was
more.
great to host.
Tell me more. What
Yeah.
the last year it has another name?
It was the Metaverse Music Festival. Which Metaverse Music Festival?
Oh, okay. So we had DLC. The concert we had on Friday was MBMF, but this is a revamped
Yes,
version.
like
Oh,
underground.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because
It's great to understand now.
yeah, the main DCL MF had a lot of stages, and we were at the seed. We were kind of right at the edge of that build, and it was like underground, is what they were calling it. So yeah, I think it maybe wasn't necessarily under the whole umbrella DCL Music Fest 2023. But it is interesting to see that they did go back from using MVMF to DCL MF.
And DCO stands for the Central Land.
Yeah. So I think that's a great name, Decentraland Music Festival. They should have gone with that from the start.
Yeah, but if we are doing this as a yearly event on this platform, it can have that name.
Yeah, it makes me almost want to try and regroup up some of the MVMF fam and be like, hey, maybe we should strike something up for following year.
Yeah, I was about to say, has there anything happened with the
They
MVMF?
participated, and I'm realizing right now that that was the VMF. So there has to be part of the crew that wasn't aware of.
Yeah, I haven't had much real MVMF uh, communications lately, but it's like, the discords I use more often are towards the top, and then like if you have to scroll down a bit, sometimes I just don't get down there, so I have to go like revisit, bring it up,
Yeah,
get in touch with people.
yeah, yeah. I totally get it. I have a lot of discords that I don't think I'm even more. Oh, here is the MBMF. Yeah, but I had it in the background, in
Yeah.
the bottom of everything, as well as few other projects. Even the whale community is over there, and meme force that I had it there like an NFT or something.
And actually, Jose, There's a guy that was there, VTATV. I'm gonna get on a call with him probably tomorrow. He was taking video. He does Decentraland coverage. But his partner on a project is from Venezuela. And so when we were chatting, when you were playing, and I mentioned that you're from Venezuela, and he was like, "Oh, my partner's down there. Like, we got to link these guys up and stuff." So might be something cool.
Hey, Easy, do you hear an echo coming from Jose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm that audio guy to say, let's see, Jose, if you can turn on echo cancellation on your computer.
I think that
We just
we are ready.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we need to get him some solid AirPods for the next unit of tech. But I think
Absolutely.
we're
In
ready for a
fact, we could
song.
just have him play. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I just turn on everything that I tell everybody to turn off. So I think that now we would.
Yeah, you sound great.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, it's working. Yeah. Awesome.
I just have to shoot it down once I start playing, but
Well,
things have
actually,
been
the one that you should have turned on is the very top, the automatic volume level, and you slide the thing. Dragonate will get after you. Uh, you know, turn that off and slide that little bar to the far left, and
All
as
the way
long
to
as
the
you see,
left.
you know what I'm talking about. So that way, that is the main one that keeps you from going. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's a technical term.
yeah. I right now I just put everything like in the middle, so you cannot like receive the noise from yourself because I don't have headphones at the moment. But
Yeah.
I think that we're doing good right now.
Yeah, it's working right now for killing most of the echo. So yeah, just whenever you want to play, you can revert your settings, and then afterwards, when we're talking, just throw this on. But yeah, we'll have to do a little race for you to get you some good headphones.
I'm just saying the messages over the live chat. I wanted to add my comment too about that picture.
What was that?
So great. I never considered like I had a friend going to Alaska, and it's just incredible, like all the connection and how we can ask and receive synthesis about the ecosystem.
Yeah, so cool. We global.
Yeah, or you can just ask to freeze your ass off. Isn't that kind of
You don't
synthesis? I'm kidding.
you don't have you don't have a fridge, right? Like you you just put things out there.
Oh man, I'll send you a picture of my son's apartment. He has a storage room outside, and he's got all of his meats in the closet outside, and they're frozen. It's like
Just a
if you
little bear-proof locker out there. Yeah, that's
got a
cool.
door, yeah, it's just a storage room. And he says, and I believe it, if you put them in the cooler in there, they won't freeze right. So, so it's just straight, resting. I'll send a picture.
Nice. Just stacks of meat. Like,
Yeah, and you have to have that
Pork.
diet, that type of diet if you are there because you are going to need it. You are going to be burning a lot of your
oh yeah.
energy per minute just to keep you warm. So
No,
you have to
actually,
put
there's vegans up here. Trust me. There's all manner.
vegan.
There's Thai food. I mean,
I'm sure they're kind of sickly though.
yeah. Well, actually, the only people that are sickly are the people that don't use what it's called a happy light. If you don't get enough
Oh.
UV or infrared light, you actually will,
Like get
start
depressed.
having exactly, and that's the worst thing that can possibly happen. Light starvation during the winter is horrific, and obviously
I've
sleep deprivation in the summer. So you take your pick. Manage it
right.
well, and you're okay. Food, yeah. Well,
I
here's
don't
the
know
thing.
how.
I'm sorry I'm keeping on stepping on you, but here in Alaska, it's the longest growing season. I mean, you can start growing in April and you can go until August. I mean, and so with that, essentially, they have the largest produce.
Man,
You have to see a cabbage here. It's like two
like
foot round,
monster,
two
right?
foot.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
and then 3 foot broccoli. It's just like what? You're buying trees and basketballs. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's pretty funny how big the produce is here. The carrots are monstrous. Zucchinis are like 5 inches in diameter.
Right?
Yeah, crazy.
That and why is that? Because of the cold weather?
The heat units, the amount of
No,
heat units you get over a short period. So basically,
yeah,
like to get
daylight.
a vegetable ripe or a fruit, it will take a certain amount of heat units. That's why there's growing zones. If you're in zone A, 2, maybe there's not enough heat units for avocados, but there's enough for strawberries, right? Things like that. So you have to get enough heat units to like come to fruition, but you're getting so much light up there and you're getting those units like so quick that the stuff would just like keep going versus just like grow to size and ripen. It's going to like just get monstrous. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Interesting. Yeah, and this connects me with electroculture. Are you familiar with that?
Electroculture, is it a type of growing system?
Yeah,
No, I don't think I've heard of it.
it, electroculture. I have a friend on blockchain who is making electroculture harvesting in his farm. Uh, he has years documenting all sort of things that uh, are outside of the bots somehow, like growing hair naturally or restoring your sight with exercises. And he has also this post about orgonites. Are you familiar with orgonites?
I am familiar with Organite, yeah.
He is also sharing his progress with orgonites and with all sort of things. He's one of the most great dudes I ever found on blockchain. I think he will really enjoy being here on a Monday with us. Uh, Let me see if I found his user. Yeah, here it is. I'm going to send um, his main page. All of his content is super interesting, but he has some interesting stuff about electroculture. So it's basically the use of electricity for the growth of your vegetables, and looks like there are
Interesting.
like historic pictures uh, of big, like giant. I don't know if you ever saw like the War of the Vegetables. That is like a, yeah, a slow motion movie. Yeah, it's this is like that type of giant food somehow.
Cool.
Super
I
interesting.
mean,
So I was thinking like, how would it be Alaska plus electroculture?
very interesting. I mean, it's trippy. I'll have to check it out because definitely there's been studies about different types of fields, electromagnetic fields around plants and things like this. And depending on the frequencies, in fact, with I think 432 hertz, you can get do like a 432 sound bath on your seeds and they'll germinate better than ones that didn't. And these interesting studies that have been done even just with intention, positive thought towards plants and water and food and stuff. They can get results, scientific results from that on how long the food lasts. If you are giving it positive kind of even like talking to it, but basically the thoughts are enough positive versus negative on how water droplets freeze, how long rice will stay good before it molds, on germination of seeds, on the growth of plants. Obviously it affects humans too. So yeah, some pretty interesting stuff there about the electroculture.
Yeah, now that you talk about positive and negative energies affecting like our fields, I just shared this rice experiment. I didn't saw the video before, but
I've seen it.
I yeah. So this is super valuable information. We can relate like energy is important and having clean energy for the growth of your plants sounds like something, yeah, um, like acceptable somehow. Like I don't know how it will work with electricity, but if you give energy in form of thoughts, you are also giving somehow like head points, if that was how you call it. Um, you give certain um, nutrient or I don't know music, and what I also understand is that if you put your saliva into a seed, that seed will genetically fit like your own structure. So uh, that also sounds like beautiful somehow, and uh, how powerful can be that everybody grows their own food in that way,
Yeah.
and that everybody develops certain connection. You don't have to grow everything, but put something, and that can be a beautiful exercise. I don't know. I just shared a picture. I don't know if it's real, but you can see like a big watermelon, a big lettuce, and a big onion, and see the face of that old man. He's just super happy of his giant onion,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's nothing else in the world that can give you that joy.
And the taste is so much better, so much better when you pick something out of the garden. Tomato, for example, you'll never find a tomato in a supermarket that tastes anything like a homegrown tomato. We're just down to our last few that I harvested like a week ago before it would get too cold. So I'm going to miss those for a while. But also, and I haven't done a lot of like scientific checkup on this, but it would make sense that you, after picking a fruit or vegetable, over time it loses basically the nutrient content. So eating something fresh, you're going to have the like peak nutrient and vitamins from that. Over weeks as it's getting oxygenated and whatnot, and just decay might start and all that, you're losing nutrients basically. I don't think it matters if you throw wax on the outside like they do or whatever. That's not going to like save your nutrients, even though it keeps it looking fresh. So there's these
Yeah.
aspects too.
Also, something I just remembered about my friends telling me like the fruits in the States or in Colombia is that like the plantains can last forever. That
Because
that you
they're
can relate.
like genetically modified and like covered in weird chemicals.
Yeah, here if you si te descuidas un momento aquí se te pudre toda la comida rapidito. O sea, it's like that. Uh, it's like fresh, but you can. Right now, I'm buying my food in one of the biggest markets of Caracas City. The market is the Coche Market, el mercado de Coche. Let me see if I can find a picture for you guys. And I'm buying my stuff there because it actually has a big impact uh, into like my savings. If I
Hmm.
buy my food in any other place, it can go to $50 to more per week to buy food, and here I can reduce my cost to even 20. It depends on the season. I'm just sharing some pictures. Um, and you have to do like it's like a journey once you get into the
Oh
market.
wow.
It's a big market.
Well, oh,
uh,
at first I thought maybe you were talking of like a giant like supermarket or something. I was going to ask about like outdoor markets, farmers markets and stuff like that, but this looks much more like a kind of farmers market setup where you're buying from, more the people that are producing it instead of a supermarket, right?
sure thing. Actually, like this is how the people got fit. That this is how I understand how we like get some stability, like in a wider way. You can get deals there where you can get like big bags of food for if you have a right organization, you can do something really nice for communities. Like they have a whole bunch of trucks coming by every day from different parts of Venezuela, and the production is natural. So everything I bought has seeds. The lemon, the lemon I bought, it has like 20 seeds. It's like why it has so many seeds. Like if I bought my food in the market, the lemon will not have seeds at all. So
Maybe a couple, yeah.
you can
Because it's
find yeah.
I was gonna say probably because these are like naturally pollinated, and because they're grown in a much more natural method with probably a lot less, if any, pesticides, right? Because that costs more money and it's harder to get it down there. So they're using natural methods, and so the insects survive and they pollinate it, and so it actually makes seeds versus keeping it like sterile and covered in chemicals so nothing can get on it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and like maybe you are buying the stuff to the same people who harvest it, or you are really close into the production chain to the people who harvest it, and
Much
so
better.
they can relate to you like, oh, these oranges are super great. They are green, but they are good, and I don't know, they can tell you so much information about their product, and that is really beautiful. Uh, I also felt that this time I went there, it was yesterday, um, that people was like in a celebration mood. It's like if people is already celebrating Christmas, like if they want the year to end basically. And here I found like a video of the market in the middle of the quarantine, so you can check. We don't care. All the
Whoa.
narratives dropped here.
Yeah, that looks like a big crowd.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
massive market.
The narratives can't stand Venezuela. This is just what it is, and people had to do what they had to do, and everything here is good with all of this stuff that is happening. And what I wanted to tell you about this market and stuff. Uh, well, it's a really beautiful place, but it's full of vibes. You can feel a lot of energies. You can feel dance energy. You can feel a lot of screams. You can feel that somebody is arguing with another people and they are just having a good time. And I don't know, everything is happening at the same time. It's just great. I think it's something worth living. And the food, it actually can be super cheap. Actually, the onions and the tomatoes were super cheap in this time I went. It was like in less than $1 per kilogram,
Yeah.
and sometimes you can find it in two. So it was in a really nice season, I believe. So you can find really really nice prices, and yeah, pretty interesting. Like how also fluctuates with a supermarket. Not everybody goes to this area of Caracas because it's also like in an extreme of
Hmm.
the city, but it's more like local commerce and stuff. But there's also people from all over the localities who goes and, oh, that's a big lettuce. No, that's a cabbage, right? It's just big.
Holy
See,
cow, yeah. Jeez.
that's bigger than a basketball. Sorry, it's a medicine ball. Yeah.
I just
Massive.
remember, like, I'm not that familiar. I would love to find a friend of mine that can give you like some tips on that. But it's like Peru and corn, and Mexico and corn, and the different types of corn they have. Uh, I Let me find a picture. uh, Check this out.
There were so many types of corn. Um,
check this
you
out.
know, say 100 years ago or something. Unfortunately, I know that Mexico lost lots of their like heritage corn when Monsanto's went in with their big push to get them using the GMO stuff. But a lot of them did, just fought back and were like, no, we're going to grow the same corn we've been growing for 1,000 years.
Yeah, sounds legit. The thing is that
Oh,
it's like,
beautiful.
yeah, I'm telling you, it's like art
Wow.
from, it's art
Wow.
from, it's not only food, it's art. It's like, I don't know,
I
it's so
mean,
beautiful.
yeah, it's like a super crazily colored like Persian rug I mean, there's so many bright colors in there. That's incredible. And then also the second one you did with like the pastel corn. Wow, very cool.
This one is like jewelry. This is like you can
Whoa.
give to your wife and she will love you all your life. It's fun.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, definitely before we get
This
on
looks
too long.
like something from the sea, right? It looks like something like from the sea, almost like eggs
Totally
from beach or something.
trippy.
Yeah, you know that in Peru they have mountains, a lot of mountains. So the Spanish people when they come here, they was like, "What the fuck? We cannot grow shit here.
Hmm.
This is impossible." And looks like the people from Peru had like hundreds of years of research about how to grow food in their land, and
Yeah.
they had these structures that were like circles inside circles, and the middle point, it was like in the bottom, and each circle was like in a new floor of like 2 meters, and they developed different micro ecosystems between these circles. Each one
Mm.
of them had like a different temperature, and they developed like a system so they can grow like all sort of foods, and the water, or I don't know, their system was like somehow holistic. Let me see if I can find a picture. Like,
That's interesting. Kind of like a very early way of companion planting where you maybe do your beans with your corn. But it sounds like they would have a level of something and then like next to that another level because also
okay,
that's beneficial for pollination and all that.
I found it. Look at that. Look at this beauty. This is a beauty.
Whoa, trippy.
It's trippy, super trippy. They had it. Uh, it's a piece of art. It's like, so
Wow,
they had like different temperatures on each circle, and they grow different food on each circle. So
right?
that was
You're like wettest or down at the bottom because that's gonna hold the most water. Your drier like in crops up at the top. Ones with greater wanting of sun on like the southern facing exposure, and the ones that like a little more shade on the north. So you've got each kind of different segments on each ring almost too. That is pretty cool. I've never seen that one.
I don't know if Felens is seeing these pictures because I saw a message of him like, drop some gifts. Is this token smart or what? I think we have a
Also,
sub.
I don't know if
yeah,
it's
there
loading slow for me or not. Yeah, it's
we're
weird.
going we're going between the live chat and the stage chat kind of though.
Oh,
There's some in either. So yeah, for the fancy corn, you got to look in the stage chat.
for some
And they're
reason
really
it's
beautiful.
not.
Oh, please look that corn, Felens.
The little
Ooh,
like
Where is it? For
my
the
some
guitar
reason.
little
almost died. Grab it with two
ooh,
fingers. Like,
oh man, Spidey fingers.
I
Felons
just
at the top right, there should be the little like show chat little
Oh,
bubble box thing, and that should
yeah.
pop it out. Yeah.
I had a upgrade application box up there
Ah,
hiding.
hiding it.
Oh,
Check
man,
out
that's
that
like
corn.
little jewels. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
That's
know. They look
cool.
like sapphires and like,
this is
rubies and
so cool.
emeralds.
They
Jewel
have
of the
like
corn.
looks like they have like 1,000 types of variety.
I mean, you almost would expect to be able to plug those in, you know,
Right?
little
Yeah,
LED.
it's a little Christmas light corn or something. That's what it
Christmas
looks like.
corn.
Pretty
Christmas
sure, like,
corn.
I'm pretty sure that they use corn with this kind of colors to
Mhm.
trade as art, to use
Yeah.
as currency, to use as
Well,
money,
also
value,
the
beauty.
value, the token of the corn art had utility because you could plant it and grow it, right? So that's a solid financial system. Corn, you can eat it, you can grow it, you could have it as an art hanging and gift that to some. You know, it reminds me a little of pre-blockchain type stuff here. You know,
Yeah,
fungible, non-fungible corns because they're like ones of the kinds, but you know,
I
they
love
got the
it.
utility. Maybe we
It
should do
sounds
some kind of corn PFP of some type.
yeah. I was seeing like you know, I have this friend of mine, Waskar, who has the land.
Yeah,
He basically wants to plant the corn so he can feed the cows and the
right.
animals.
Yep.
But I was thinking like, what if we replicate the farm into Web3, like a game
Ooh.
that
Oh,
has the
oh
animals
shit.
in the Waskar farm, and if he rescue or he buys from the community a new cow, you will have that NFT for sale to somebody to have.
Right, right.
And I would like to see like if somebody has a cow and his son El Becerrito, he can start milking the cow and earning milk. But this is just super
Yeah.
speculative stuff. Let's not get there. Let's try to see
It
the other side.
it
Like
would be really cool.
it can go social impact. Like if right now he has a deer that was rescued, he has a lot of goats and like chivitas y chivos. Yo no sé si chivo es goat, la verdad. Creo que eso es cabra.
Cabra.
Creo que cabra. Goat, he had, but he didn't have goats. He had
Sheep.
chivo.
Sheep,
Sheep, not sheep. Sheep will be oveja.
right? Sheep, goat, and lamb. Lamb? I mean, what's the difference
Land,
between
maybe. Yeah,
okay.
it's land. So he has many lambs. So I was thinking like we can have a replica of the farm and the things we are creating because I mean this farm is from zero. It needs to get all the system again. Like we can somehow like duplicate it in a digital world and people can be in this journey with us and they can be at the zoo. They can see the zoo somehow like in real time and well the corn is there and everything is organical. I don't know, and we can experiment with that. I mean he was super open to that. When I was telling this to him I was having like a you know and I don't know.
It
We were talking earlier about how we can do to connect music, ecotourism, and all these sort of things. And I think that all my community here that I'm visualizing that, you know, in a way or another, they are connected one another with each other and they have things they want to manifest that can lead to the same way because all of them are connected with ancestral communities. All of them are connected with the Watuha community from the Amazon. And I think that we can do something ecotouristic and digital.
It would be really, really cool to have like a Venezuelan connection build in a metaverse, right? Where you've got the farm game, where you can go and maybe if you spend time there, you earn some corn and then you can feed that to the cow. Or you could like, if you purchased NFTs along with it, then you could get like kind of claim partial ownership of an animal or a crop or something like that would be interesting. But then you also, not only do you have the farm, so you have the farm over here in this build, and then you have like you know a music venue here, and then you've got someone's like textile that they're making jewelries or clothes at over here, so you could visit their shop and see a video on them, and also buy products and the chocolate maker factory over you know something like that. That like you're saying, these people are all connected. So if you could make this, I mean, obviously that's a giant freaking project, but we're just kind of spitballing here. So that, and maybe you just start with something like a farm game and then you add like a music portal or something, or maybe you know you if you you know play music for the animals, they enjoy it. I don't know. There's got to be something there that could be done because those farm games and animal games and stuff get huge popularity on the Web 2 front of things. So if there's actually
Yeah,
social impact you could do by helping raise the crops to feed the deer or whatever, so
Yeah,
there's
maybe
something
some
there.
sort of sustainable
yeah, and somehow
agriculture.
I'm thinking
So
about
not
this
just
like a tiny game,
any sort
like
of
the. Sorry, Felons, I'm not hearing you that good. Let me change your
really
audio.
okay. Maybe it's my output. I'm on my laptop straight up. So let me just make sure my
I will put easy in lower and I will up my volume. So
okay. How how's
That
that?
better.
sounds better. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but basically, I was thinking a game based on sustainable agriculture. So
Ooh.
somebody instead of using a pesticide or any sort of fertilizer, you're basically tilling in past crops. You're doing some sort of natural management of the earth such to grow crops as clean as possible. So you get bonus points, but you can't always do that based on climate, right? So what are you
Right.
doing to make
And
things happen,
in a
right?
game that could be really good though because you've got all these mini things you've got to go get the manure into the wheelbarrow to then bring it over to the veggie plot, right? Or
Gotta get the back
you're
guano,
like
man.
collecting like beneficial insects to bring
Yeah,
back to the garden area, like little things like that where you'd earn your
right.
It
experience
has
and
to
up
be
your levels.
it has to be always educative. We have to know our environment through the game. So what you are saying is just great because when I was in the farm, I just saw an insect that was like a wasp, and I hate it so much. Then my
Right.
friend told me that he was the insect that pollinates um, maracuya.
Ah, I love maracuya, so you got to let
Oh,
the
nice.
wasp do their thing.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
ladybug still aphids, so that's like the basics
yeah,
here. Yeah.
a lot of interesting stuff going on in just like a couple feet wide particle. Whether you're talking insects that are pollinating one thing and stinging another fruit and depositing their eggs in it, and like yeah, just so much interesting stuff.
This
Sinister.
is the insect. Here is
Ooh.
a picture of the insect on stage chat.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Oh, it almost looks like a little like passiflora. Almost looks like it's got the same like passion fruit maracuya colors almost.
I
interesting.
said what just to say something is
Right.
in.
It's like a
I don't know
it's
which.
like a beetle fly or something. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
it's not
Something like a
I'm not
beetle.
familiar with it, but it has interesting purple color that matches
Yeah.
uh the maracuya flower. At
Well,
least
how
some of
big is it? It's like stretch your fingers out, show us how wide the
Um,
legs are.
it was like one, only one.
them.
Oh, okay.
Not too
Yeah,
big.
we have these
Yeah.
water ski, what we call skeeters here. And that this thing kind of long torpedo shape. But do these bite?
I think that these don't bite because at the end I had one and I was like seeing it and looks friendly.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Water
still have a
skeeters
welt
bite.
from a paper wasp. I was walking up a stairway at a friend's condo complex, and there was a light switch with a big gap on the side, and there were wasps coming in out of it. And I made the
Nice.
mistake of going up to it and going flick, and Papa Bear. I mean, he was like, "Rrrr," it's like, and I tried going past him, and I kind of, swatted him like that, and he came down and bit me on on the inside of my calf, and I still
Ooh,
have now I have spider veins on that spot.
damn.
I mean, it stayed with me all this time.
Now he can climb the walls.
I know he got me. He left a lasting impression.
Yeah, I don't know about scary animals. I have my friends that have the opportunity to went to the Amazon of Colombia, where the natives do ayahuasca. Here in the Amazon of Venezuela, the natives do yopo. But in Colombia, they is where they do ayahuasca, and in that part of the jungle, they have an ant, and the name is 48, and the name is 48 because 48 hours of pain is what you are gonna have if he bites you.
Oof. I
Yeah.
don't like it. I've had a few ant stings in Costa Rica that
Yeah.
were, I think one of them might have been the bullet ant, which it lasted a couple days. It was horrendously painful when it happened, and it hurt for like a couple days. It was either like that 48 ant or some kind of like bullet or like super gnarly, I don't know, fire ant, or like it was a
Right.
big black ant. But yeah, I mean, I just basically, hit it off me when it happened, and then it was, yeah, I was just like, I was like, what the hell was that? Fire.
another another thing I remember, one of my friends told me about the jungle is that there is a snake. There is a snake that eats big animals. Between them, they eat people, and these snakes looks like uh, they they know that humans use light, so they chase the lights in the night if it's in
Scary.
winter. And the
Super
thing is
scary.
that this snake, the noise is like a child crying.
Oh,
So it's like if you hear in the night, maybe you will think that it's a kid.
and
Maybe
go
you will,
look.
hey, what? Yeah, man, it's just it's like a horror movie. It's
That
worst.
is. Oh my
That is,
God.
yeah, yeah,
that is like a nightmare situation where you're like, yeah, it's following like your flashlight, and then you hear a little kid like off the trail, and you're like, oh shit, I better go help, and then you're inside a snake.
yeah,
So in that area, you guys have large cats, right? Is that
yeah.
the
We
black
have we have
puma?
here in Caracas. We have cunaguaritos, cunaguaro. Let me find pictures.
Yeah. How about in Costa
We
Rica?
we have
You got
They,
cunaguaro, que es in Venezuela. This is a cat from here. Oh, it's a beauty. I just
yeah.
love it. I never saw it that much. Like I know of friends who had the opportunity to maybe raise one for any other reason. Not that close to me, but I
Oh,
heard of people who had them. But they are wild animals, and
yeah.
they are a beauty. They are from the mountain of Ilavila mountain. The mountain I have in front of me,
yeah,
it
yeah.
is
Oh wow,
there.
beautiful.
Look that
These look like
beauty.
Those
ocelots.
ears,
They are tiny, 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 tiny.
Yeah.
very cool,
Oh, look this one. This is beautiful. Look, the face is like a cat,
man.
but
Yeah,
look,
they're
whoa,
like kitty tigers. I
kitty.
in Costa
What's the
Rica,
spelling of it?
once, felons, I was just a few feet away from a black like jaguar or like black panther.
Yeah.
And they
Puma.
do have those there, yeah, and it was big.
Yeah.
It ain't no little kitty. It was like up to my waist and like 4 feet long, made more with the tail. And it was what was it, just after sunrise or just before sunset. And I had my camera and my machete as I'm walking down this trail. Past the last house of the mountain that I was staying at that point. The rest was just some dirt road that turned into a trail. I'd walk on that sometimes. I would
Wow.
bring a machete in case you come across a snake or some danger or something. And so I looked to the just right on the little, like, here's the little
Yeah.
trail and here's the little hillside. And right there, like 4 or 5 feet away, I just happened to look over and saw this black silhouette there. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Do I like keep the machete or do I try and like drop the machete and try and take a picture? I tried to take a picture, and really it was just kind of a blur. You couldn't really tell what it was. But it
Right.
was exciting. It was thrilling. It was scary and like
Oh,
cool
You tell
all
me,
at the same time.
wild.
it was spiritual. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
spiritual.
It was heavy. It was definitely like a experience I'll never forget.
Yeah. you know that I have a friend. I just shared a picture from another cat here. The name is Jaguarundi, and looks like
Cool.
there are of these in Texas, I think,
Oh,
because I put Jaguarundi in Google, and the first search was Jaguarundi, Texas. But here
interesting.
in the coast, behind the mountain, look that in the same mountain, two different types of felines, uh,
Cool.
Yeah.
Jaguarundi. Yeah, I know of this cat because I had a friend who had a land in the coast, and she had Jaguarundis in his land, in her land, and she wanted to do somehow a permaculture Web3 game when I was sharing
Oh,
with her, like 2 years ago, and I know that she had a partner, and they were creating this game. I'm telling
really?
you, I think that she sent me the white paper, and I think I never read it. I have to read it with her.
Yeah, I need to
Or
check back in. That could work possibly with the other farm game, or I mean, if they have actually developed it, that could be a good resource for helping.
Yeah, and the thing is that this friend of mine was into permaculture, um, ocelot in English.
It is ocelot. Okay, cool.
You think that ocelot is the same as cunaguaro?
Well, not that. Well, maybe not. It looks bigger.
It's
An
close,
ocelot looks
but
a bit bigger, but very similar.
it's it's like, maybe twice, one and a half times the size of a house cat. Maybe two times the size, but definitely not a big cat. It's about the
Right,
same
right.
size, or
Maybe, yeah.
maybe smaller than a bobcat. But I don't know if you guys have bobcats down south or not. But they're
I'm
they're really
looking.
amazing animals. I completely agree. There's actually going to the conversation about pumas or black panthers. There's a Russian couple that have this cat called Luna, and they do shorts. They're on. I'm not sure if they're on TikTok, but I mean, this cat is just beautiful, and they snuggle with it. I mean, they've had it since a kitten, and I mean, they're integrated with the cat, and they take it out on walks, and the thing
Mhm.
just takes off, just jumps between trees. Is
Cool.
And they have a Rottweiler that they tackle each other. They grew up together,
Nice.
and the puma or whatever uh, panther just comes careening out of the bushes and tackles him. And without claws, amazingly, he hasn't died yet, so it's pretty funny.
It's always impressive when people, incorporate wild animals into their thing. But there is that. I mean, I guess with something you'll have more risk, I think, with like raising a tiger in your house or a gorilla or a chimpanzee, because those things can just rip you apart in a second, right? So like a smaller like cat that could still take you out, but maybe you could like kind of survive would be better than
Right.
like a big cat.
Yep, those are the
I
moments
want
where you've kind of touched Darwin. Yep. The
I
Darwin
don't know if
Awards
you.
are available at any time if you
Yeah.
treat your animal just a little bit off. I mean,
Well, then they're also like kind of the boss, right? I mean, you have some big gorilla or something, you're feeding it daily. Like, I don't know, there'd probably be kind of a thing where, like, if you're not careful, they're going to become the alpha. And
right.
then, yeah, if you don't do like exactly what they want, they'll just break you.
Yeah. You basically need to be, you know, an accepted
Guys,
part
I'm
of the
sharing
pack,
another.
pod, or you need to be alpha. And obviously, Jane Goodall was not alpha. She was accepted.
Yeah, yeah.
Was the interesting thing there. And so,
Well, I mean, years and years and years she spent there, right? So it's
yeah,
gaining that trust of like multiple generations and stuff. Like
yes,
that's a pretty significant case.
right.
uh, I'm going to share a YouTube channel of Frank. of the jungle. He was working with Discovery Channel, but he has a personal channel where he uploads music. He uploads videos of animals daily.
Cool.
He has a sanctuary in Thailand where he rescue animals from that are on captivity or they are trying to sell illegally, and he's always educating in that topic. He's one of my top human beings. Like, whoa, this man is super great, and I think it deserves the sharing. It's on Spanish, but he has so many animals that you don't really need to learn to know the language that he shares super great. He's a professional with spiders, and he is like one of the few people who extracts poison from the king
Mm,
cobra. Uh,
wow.
he is one of the
Gets that.
people that call to get extraction of that snake in the wild, and he has some videos in his personal channel. He alone by himself. That is something we can say in Spanish.
Mm.
He with his Crocs with socks in Australia in the middle of the wild looking for the king cobra, and he when he finds one he just put his camera on a stone steady, and he goes to be with the snake, and it's just incredible. And he has really nice stories. Now that I'm remembering, he was sharing that once he was bitten by a really poison snake, and he says that the thing that saved him was not being afraid. And when he made that incisus, he says the same happens with COVID, and it's super powerful that interview how he reduces the disease, any type of disease coming into your system, to
Right.
having fear.
Mm.
If you have
Well,
fear, you drop your
It'll
immune system.
right.
and if the second you get bit by a poisonous snake and you start freaking out, you're pumping your blood that much faster
Okay.
through your body. So you do ideally want to stay super calm and like get to your vehicle and get to somewhere where you could receive anti venom ideally. But yeah, those snake milkers and snake catchers,
Yep.
I don't know how they do it. I got mad respect for them because snakes do scare me a bit. They're just like
Mhm.
somehow they're kind of scary. You come up on a big, like 5 foot yellow boa on a trail in, Costa, and it's like, I'm not gonna fuck with that. Like maybe some of the dudes I work with or something, they'd like go and pick it up, like it's not poisonous or anything. Still, I'm
Right.
like, I'm not even getting really
Yeah,
close. I'll look at it, and that's cool.
Right.
you know,
if you
I'm,
are
I'm
telling me that, my oh yeah,
Hey, listen, I just got word that I'm going to be breaking off here in just a couple minutes to go have dinner with our son. So, yeah, I just want to
great.
say, really great hanging out with you guys. And let me just, I might as well jump now and just say thank you. Great to see you, everybody. And the audience, Brookhawk, Dragon 8, Trizlet, Dragon 8's mom. Yay. Elbow, great to see
thanks
you.
for Yeah,
IG88.
thanks for showing us some of Alaska. That was really cool to get the views and hear a
Yeah,
little bit
definitely.
about just getting up there and kind of the culture up there. So have a
Yeah.
great dinner, and we'll see you soon.
Absolutely, and I definitely wanted to do a proper shout out to the 3PS family for the fact that we just had a huge opportunity. Oh, that you got the
Rocking
bling.
my easy and
Oh,
crypto .b
what?
3ps bling, baby.
What?
Look at this. Look at this. Metaverse MC. Can you see that?
Oh,
Can you see that?
what? How did you get this?
Binks
Just
hooked it. It was a present
love
in New York last year, and it was just like, oh my god, I was so ecstatic,
it.
and it's
Oh,
super like warmy and cozy. Yeah, big shout out to Mama B.
I've seen it a lot. And I just never knew it had all that.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all easied out. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely, and it was great being on the show with you, Jose. And from here, there's so many more opportunities. Let's help it happen. So,
Oh yeah,
See you guys again soon next week,
absolutely.
I think.
Cool, cool.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm being. Oh, there's the lights. Lights are up.
This is all
Lights are
yours.
up. It's time to go.
Bye. Take care,
Eureka.
guys. See you.
Peace.
Woo.
That was cool.
Hey,
To get a little bit of like Alaska vibes. I don't think I've ever had anybody actually on show live from Alaska. I've had people on from all parts of the world,
hey,
but that was the first time I got to like see out the window of Alaska or out the door.
that was beautiful. That was a beautiful vibe. I want to close the topic of the snakes with a last story I remember from my friend from Guarico, where we was. We have a snake here. The name is Mapanare, or let me see. Um, Mapanare. La Mapanare es la traga venado. ¿O son dos distintas? Okay. I want to talk about two different serpents. So it was not the Mapanare is one from Venezuela. Let me send the picture.
I
So
don't
this
think
is
I've heard of that one.
super poisonous. Super poisonous. I never saw one in my life. But yeah, these are hard stuff.
That looks like the terciopelo is what they call that down in Costa Rica. And yeah, it's not necessarily always a death sentence, but if you don't get to a hospital, most likely you don't survive. And a lot of people that get by those, if it's the same as a terciopela or fer de lance, it will like
What
rot
was the name of the
away.
snake?
Fer de lance or terciopelo.
That is the name of the snake.
It looks very similar. The colors, although this one, it's hard to tell if it's the Fer-de-Lance or Traciapello has maybe a smaller head. Very similar coloring, and it is a very venomous. Like they're kind of aggressive too. Like if you walk by one on a trail, if it's like right next to you, or you stepped on it or something like that, it's just going to bite you right away. Versus like go away like other kind of less territorial snakes. But yeah, those
Okay,
things are sketchy.
this is the one. That is the Mapanare. Okay, that is one from Venezuela, but that was not the one I wanted to share. The one I want to share, the name is Tragavenado or deer swallower.
Oh, that must be a big one.
Yeah, she don't bite. She strangles you. And
Oh, yeah.
way she do that is that she drops a venomous gas. So when she is around you, you will feel drunk as fuck. I don't know if you ever see
What?
the Book of the Jungle, where Mowgli
Oh, yeah.
has a relationship with a spider that
The
hypnotizes
snake
him.
and he gets, yeah,
Esta es una tragavenado.
crazy.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
so like a giant constrictor. Yeah, so not venomous, but still very dangerous.
I
They
just
get a
find
hold of you and just,
uh, I just found
they're,
a photography picture. I'm going to translate some of this. Also knew it as macaurel, boa, mantona, mazacuata, jiboya, lampalagua, matacaballo. Also, they name it horse killer.
wow. Yeah.
So,
Big boa
yeah, really,
constrictor.
really strong to strangle a horse. It says that it's in the down and warm areas of the country. Um, it's the boa. It's la boa constrictor. Boa constrictor
Yeah.
is that
5 meters and
five
70
meters.
kilograms. Jeez. And I'm sure they get bigger because there've been some
In total,
expeditions. Yeah, this guy, this was like 15 years ago or something, I think. And he actually was pretty against it. I saw an interview with him but he did like a show with Discovery, and he was trying to like get, he wanted to raise awareness about snakes and educate and like maybe be able to like help the people in these areas where some of these constrictors were. But the only way that they would do the show with him is if he agreed to try and be eaten by a boa, and they made him some kind of like suit, and he knew it wasn't going to happen, but he went along with it for the gimmick to get the show made and stuff. But in that interview he talked about being out way in the Amazon and snake hunting, where he like saw part of and touched a boa that was like like, I mean, thicker than his own waist, and like he kind of jumped for it, and like he said he had his hand on it and it went like kind of under his hand and slipped off down a bank. But he said the amount of time and like the thickness that he felt as it was going, the thing must have been like 10 meters and like hundreds of kilos, but way out there in the
Yeah,
rainforest.
histories about big serpents in the Amazon are a few, and there is some legends about the Orinoco River, el Orinoco, mi amor, que está hecho por el paso de una culebra. Uh-huh. The Orinoco River, I'm going to share Orinoco River. So the Orinoco River is super important. Um, there is a see. Let's see. They say that these rivers were made by a big snake that
Mm.
serpented in that area, and that those rivers are actually the serpent of a snake, because those rivers are actually like this. They are super cute and they move like a serpent, and so
Cool.
they are like stories about like mythological serpents, like giant serpents. Um, let me see if I can find. This is
there's
a nice This is a nice picture. This is a
there's
nice
that.
picture. You can see here like the big
Ooh,
snake
yeah. Wow, look at that jungle, man. So thick.
dance. Yeah, uh, yeah. Looks like the natives in that area just learned to live inside the mold of the Mother Earth.
Yep. I mean, there's definitely stories and myths about giant snakes in a lot of different cultures. Even in like I think the Sahara, there's some stories about giant snakes that lived out there. Um, and of course there's the, what is it? The I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's like the it's I'm trying to remember even where it was. There's like a mythology about kind of like this river dinosaur that lives way out in the middle of the jungle, and I can't remember if that one's in Africa or the Amazon. Um, but there's been many reportings of like this giant basically like dinosaur over the last
Yeah,
150 years or so.
we are talking about dinosaurs in this. Now that we are entering into this topic, we also have to talk about the tepuyes. Do you know the tepuyes?
No, tapuyes, no.
Let's go there with
Piscuinte.
uh, tepuy. It's a type of mountain that who has no type of peak. It's like it was cut. Let me show you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, yeah.
I will show you a
Damn.
few more pictures.
Those waterfalls on that one are crazy.
Yeah, I will show you a few more. Here in Venezuela, there are a few tepuyes. So the legends says that they were big trees made of xylis that were the ones that created like somehow life. and that it was cut by giants that
Mm,
were trying like to kill the earth, and we born from the fallen tree,
super interesting. I mean,
something like that.
something major happened there to take the top off that mountain. I mean,
Yeah, it's a beautiful structure. I don't remember how it's like they are made, but the thing is that the center of these mountains, they have a donut hole that
mm,
goes to the bottom of the mountain, and inside the tepuis there are unique species that we don't still
oh,
know, because we
wow.
don't still go that deep there, and the species are really delicate in our
Yeah,
environment. So when you pull out a species from there, they just pull out death, and not that cool like to study them. Uh, but hey, here I find a legend from Peru that is the same from the Amazon that I'm telling you.
mm-hmm.
You know, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, like the Amazon connects all of these places. So here it says Yakumama is the name of the serpent, of the snake, which is the origin of Yakumama, and why the population from the jungle says that it does exist. So it says um, this legend is very new by the population of the Amazon. As by so many time, the population of the Peruvian's jungle have shared the legend of Yakumama from mouth to mouth, um, causing panic into the population. This mythic serpent, giant serpent, which name meaning is mother of the water, it's feared and respected by the community, who relates that their origins um, can be found in the big lagoon of Yarinacocha in Peru. It says that it's similar to an
Mm-hmm.
anaconda, similar to anaconda, but of bigger dimensions. It
Damn,
believes that Yakumama can go more than 50 meters of length, with a head of 2 meters of length.
crazy. Wow.
So we are talking about a dinosaur.
Yeah,
It says that it has no sight, and it says that this serpent goes in the river, in the Amazon River. I was telling you. Also, they say that from her mouth she drops powerful water splashes that can cut the trees,
damn.
so she can climb from in them and walk in the land. It says that when she turned 100 years, his weight and length is so big that she decides to establish in like a lagoon in the jungle, and she only leave her head uh, behind the water so she can eat more, but like she stopped moving.
It'd
It
be too
says also
heavy.
that this snake possess an hypnotic power on his eyes,
I mean, God, if
similar
you were
to,
looking at a snake that had a head like that wide, you would be hypnotized out of just the fear. I think you would just be frozen. I mean, seeing a
yeah,
smaller snake gets you scared. So imagine a snake that's like, you know, up above you, looking at you, and it could easily just swallow you whole. I mean, these stories do come from somewhere. I would not be surprised if there have been snakes that have come into a village that was, yeah, 50 feet long and uh, capable of just eating a cow or a person with no problem at all.
yeah.
And there
For
might be.
a moment, the what I see about this serpent, it looked to me like the basiliscus. You familiar with that?
Basiliscos. Ah, okay.
It says that it was
Like a
a giant.
dragon.
It was a giant serpent that they were considering the king of the snakes. But in the picture, you can see like a beard, right? It's like a
Looks
like
more
a
like a
dragon.
dragon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
So
mean,
Harry
the
Potter and the Chamber of the Secrets. The basiliscus is the snake that is inside Hogwarts castle. It's the same description of the Yakumama from Peru.
pretty interesting. I mean, yeah, you have these myths and legends of um, the progenitors of humans being serpents. I mean, all the way down to you've got, a pretty important serpent in the Bible that gives knowledge to Adam and Eve, and then they get kicked out of the Garden of Eden. That's kind of when mankind started. If depending on your thoughts on the Garden of Eden. Maybe it was this kind of bubble of like always daytime and warm temperatures and everything. So they had never experienced like night and day and everything till after that. But yeah, very interesting that we have so many from Egypt to Africa to South America to North America to Europe to, I mean, globally, we have ancient mythology about basically serpents or serpent like beings giving us knowledge and being creators
Yeah,
of
actually,
man. So
actually,
it's very interesting.
now that I just shared a link about Quetzalcoatl,
Yeah.
and I was reading about him, and he was new as the transgressor between sky and earth.
Jose just froze for me. We'll see if he's back in a sec. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl is a very interesting one too. The feathered serpent, who is, from the Mayan mythology, as their kind of progenitor, their first main king.
Sorry,
I've Oh, all good. He's back. Yeah, I've been to some pyramids, that had like uh giant Quetzalcoatl like coming down the stairs and stuff, like the Temple of the Moon or
yeah.
Temple of the Sun and Teotihuacan.
Mira, viste que el templo del sol y la luna estuvo el Sin, por allá. Que Sin estuvo por el templo del sol y la luna allá con Quetzalcoatl. Sí, en
It
Teotihuacán.
was it was super cool. Back then, we were allowed to go to the top. So I actually have a watercolor painting that I did at the top of the Pyramid of the Moon.
Beautiful. I remember I told you a story about my grandmother and the aliens, and I remember that the other uh, old man who told me that he was with my grandma in that journey told me that he went in the top of a Mexico pyramid in a certain special day. I don't know which day, equinoccio, el otro. I don't know which was, but he got healed after
Wow.
like certain alignment with the stars and that place. And yeah, it's so mysterious and so
Yeah.
beautiful.
I
um
also I was lucky enough to also, it was early enough, in the late 90s, I believe, that on the same trip I went to Palenque in southern Mexico. And I was able to go and actually go up, and then we were able to go down into the pyramid to see the tomb of, and now I'm blanking on his name, um, uh, Iracocha. He was like
Huiracocha.
one of, he was, I might be mixing up that name. He was the Mayan king who is depicted almost as if he's in like a spaceship with like the thing on his nose and like the levers and the like foot pedals and all that. Um, I got to see that like just right up, 6 feet away. There was a glass or something up between, but you could go all the way down and see the sarcophagus and stuff. And I don't think they let you do that or go up the pyramids of the sun and moon anymore. It's much more like locked down. Really amazing, man. Just the steps going down into that pyramid were so worn from, like, the original, cut block that you just imagine the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of, like, barefoot steps going up and down there to, like, pay respects and stuff over hundreds of years to wear that rock down, like, it was intense, it was really cool.
You know that you just remembered me a movie that I see thanks to my friend Claver, one of my friends that makes the native chants. He showed me this movie. The name is The Laws of the Sun. The Laws of the Sun. Las leyes del sol. Uh, it was a super deep movie about the life of Siddhartha Buddha. And to start talking about the life of Siddhartha, they start talking first like about the Pleiadians.
Mhm.
It's an animated movie.
Oh,
It's
cool.
like a Japanese anime.
Nice.
Um, it's an old movie. I do recommend it. It's just super deep and it's full of all a mix of cultures. It's like yeah, pretty great movie and really deep. Um, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it here.
Very cool. I just made a little note of it in the chat because that sounds like a kind of movie that I would definitely be, down to see, absolutely.
Yeah, I think here it is, but it's not that the loss of the sun. Yeah, I just found it in Spanish.
The Leyes del
So
Sol.
basically, it starts speaking that we are in the 3D, in the third dimension, but they then speaks that there are 12 dimensions and that beings from the 12th dimension created beings from the 11th dimension that created beings from the 10th dimension and so on till we are here. And somehow the planet Earth have been the place where they have been the most beautiful balance of life, the most diverse type of life and harmony have coexisted here. So it's like beings from all over the dimensions um, desires somehow to have the power over this planet that represents somehow a peak of harmony and evolution. So like there are certain beings on those dimensions that would love like to learn from us what do we know about love, and there are others that wants like to eat us like in Monsters Inc. type of shit.
Mhm. Man,
So
the dimensions get so interesting and trippy. I saw a couple of they were like YouTube shorts that were about kind of the perspective from the fourth dimension. Some of them were pretty simply put together, very complex ideas, but they were made really easy to understand. And it was cool. It was just like yeah, something in this 2D plane. Could have like say you had you've got this 2D plane a drawing and you have like a drawing of a person here and then you have like a closed box here. It doesn't have a lid on it because they're only in two dimensions. They could have something in that box that they had put there and me from the third dimension could just lift it off the paper. They would have no idea how that disappeared or where it went or anything. So it's like someone in the fourth dimension above us could easily just like, take your socks or whatever that thing is that vanished that you're like, no, that's so weird. Where did it go? They could just plop it out. You would never know. Or even probably pluck you out and then put you back later and you wouldn't even know. Like it's very interesting stuff when you start talking about higher dimensions.
you just remember me a book that a friend recommended me. No, ¿tú no te acordarás el nombre? Mundo Cubo. I have to remember it. ¿Cómo? un libro que Poppy recomendó una vez. This book was about there was like a 2D world. Everybody was a square or a circle or a triangle. The name, I think that
Flatland, something like that.
how
Like Flatlanders or something like that.
like yeah like
Sounds really familiar.
geometry land or the name is on Spanish, at least the one I know. So the thing is that there is this community made of 2D figures, and one of them decides to take a big walk, and he meets a sphere, and his world changes totally because this is
Hmm.
a 3D figure, and this community is like, no way, there's only 2 dimensions, there's no more. And this sphere tell them that there are like other um that there are other dimension, and that there's also other like deep, and he tried to explain to them this dimension. And it's like a pretty like ludic book. I would love to know more of him. um but yeah, I got really interested about him, so somehow we can do like the same comparison. Like there's a 4D, a 5D, a 6D. Like we can see it in the figures. You have a triangle, you have a square, you have a pen, ¿cómo se dice? Un pentagrama, cuadrado, un
Pentagram.
pentágono, pentagon, an hexagon, an heptagon, an octagon, and uh,
Hexagon.
yeah, you have a lot of those. So those represent musical notes and strings. And how would our world look in 4D? Yeah, so I don't know. 4D to me, as far as I could experience in my life, 4D is like when you do astral traveling. When you
Hmm.
do astral traveling, you can see your apartment, and you can see all the rooms of your apartment at the same time, and you can see not privacy in the fourth dimension. That's
Yeah,
you can see.
I think I might have seen that No Privacy in the Fourth Dimension, or at least one of her videos. Yeah, yeah, that looks familiar. Yeah, yeah, super, so easy to grasp the way she's explaining it, and like with her little, drawings and stuff like that. Yeah, good. That's a good one. I'll have to check out the other, or How Would Our World Look in
In the
4D.
video.
Covered a range of topics tonight. And
Mm.
sorry, I was just gonna grab something to share with you guys because in a little bit, uh, there is a super Web3 music space. GodCloud, I think, is hosting. Yep. So I was going to share that here too in
What do
like
you think
15.
in Dragon Age?
I'm going to
Yeah,
watch all these later.
I have to watch them all. I
Yeah,
would love
yeah,
to share a song. I would love to share a song
yeah,
to also say goodbye in a few minutes. To me, it's almost 11 p.m. I had a it's tense day, and today conversation was great.
yeah,
Super happy
absolutely.
for today's.
Let's vibe.
I'm going to change my settings. Okay. se acaban, me causan dolor. Y ese es mi karma de tanto soñar. Que el tiempo todo lo cambia, que el tiempo es transformación, que el tiempo es una distancia que cambia la percepción. Que el tiempo todo lo cambia, que el tiempo es transformación, que el tiempo es una distancia que cambia la percepción. Tu frío quítamelo, no me entregues nada. La eterna madrugada nos mira en un rincón. Bailaba sin distracción la canción de la muerte. Nuestro código inherente también se hizo canción. Tanto talento que tienen tus ojos tardíos. Muero de risa con todos tus juegos mentales. El argumento más denso ahora es la prisa de tus valores tan tiernos y tan naturales. Canto y conecto los puntos a tiempo con rimas. Y tú no sabes de dónde van mis disparates. Que manifiesto seguido en los medios días. Que dan color de mi esencia a tus realidades. Y a veces despierto en plena madrugada, como pidiendo a gritos un color, una tonalidad más clara, que luces también color, en notas musicales o signos zodiacales. El arte es un motor. Tu frío quitámelo, no me entregues nada. La eterna madrugada nos mira en un rincón. Bailaba sin distracción la canción de la muerte. Nuestro código inherente también se hizo canción. Tanto talento que tienen tus ojos tardíos. Muero de risa con todos tus juegos mentales. El argumento más denso ahora es la brisa de tus valores tan tiernos y tan naturales. Canto y conecto los puntos de tiempo con rimas. Y tú no sabes de dónde van mis disparates. Que manifiesto seguido en los medios días. Que dan color de mi esencia a tus realidades. Mando bendiciones a larga distancia. Es lo que me tiene las manos cargadas. Lo que mueva el mundo será tu energía. Esa es la verdad que te estaba escondida. Brindo a tu salud, salud. Tu que siento es pura vibración. Todo lo que siento es pura vibración. Pura vibración, pura vibración. Todo lo que siento es pura vibración. Hoy va hablando la verborrea del dolor. Voy sanando así mi pobre corazón, transmutando grado a grado vibración, para ser una escalera hacia el Señor, de rojo a morado, desde do hasta el sí. Canto lo que canto para curarme los espantos del pasado y del futuro en el aquí. Sueño lo que sueño para traerle al mundo entero la certeza y la alegría de vivir. En cada palabra pronunciada con el alma, destilando la sustancia universal. Hablando en el silencio de la verdad, descubro que soy la muerte y soy vida. Para ser una escalera hacia el Señor, de rojo a morado, desde tú hasta el sí. Canto lo que canto para curarme los espantos del pasado y del futuro en el aquí. Sueño lo que sueño para traerle al mundo entero la certeza y la alegría de vivir. En cada palabra pronunciada con el alma, destilando la sustancia universal. Canto lo que canto para curarme los espantos del pasado y del futuro en el aquí. Sueño lo que sueño para traerle al mundo entero la certeza y la alegría de vivir. En cada palabra pronunciada con el alma, destilando la sustancia universal.
Ah, looks like we got disconnected.
Yeah.
He's back.
I don't know. I don't know what is happening. It's a little cut. I actually it's like my Wi-Fi got disconnected and I have to reconnect completely, like enter again. I don't know.
Ah, bummer.
It's weird. But hey, almost the end of the song, right?
Yeah, we had a pretty good go. Great conversations and a couple great songs. I can hodl
Nice,
that
qué
vibe.
bonito. La pasamos fino. Well, a great Monday. Alaska, Estados Unidos, Venezuela. We talk about Peru, corn, agriculture. We talked about mythology. We passed through aliens and dragons. I think we went good. We went to the 4D. We went into the 11D thanks to Dragon Age
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we had a pretty un día nutritivo, pretty
Yeah.
nutritious day.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
sending
I
it
love
off.
it.
Woo!
Uh, Peace, love, and whipsy. We'll see you
Peace,
next
love, and
week.
Whipsy.
And if anybody's interested, God Cloud is hosting a Twitter space about music soon. I dropped the link in the live chat.
Looking forward to it. Hey, Elbow, Dragonade. It was an interesting show for sure. Yeah. We went
And
into
yeah,
the farm,
everybody,
ecotourism. I think that we touched everything.
we got games and development.
Happy give of thanks.
Yeah,
Yes.
everybody, happy Thanksgiving if I don't see you before.
Hold the
And I
vibe.
guess that's it. Total the vibes.
Keep our phone
Peace,
flowing.
love, and whipsy.
Woo.
Woo!
Bien, pues, los quiero mucho. Descansen.
See y'all around the metaverse.